A bit of space behind because we will be stepping back eventually. Right, so come to a position where the feet are just under the hips, and then into this prayer position on the mat stay. Nice sense of straightness about the body. Keep the eyes open now because you're just getting your composure with this. Nice feeling of straightness, rooting through the feet. A bit of pressure on the palms. Okay. So I say we're going to move nice and slowly through this. We've gone well past 7 breaths, but never mind, doesn't really matter. Just want to sort of get the feel of it. So then I'm going to take the hands down, just come out, and then come into a tree pose. Just bring that left foot onto the inside of your right foot. Any way you like on the leg, doesn't have to be high up, right? Just for a few moments, okay? Just to get that feeling of balance on that right leg. The arms can be wherever you want, either in the prayer position on your hips, or you can come up to the branches of the tree. Alright, just a few moments. And then from here, the next pose is we're going to take that left foot back into a warrior two. So the arms will come down, and then we step back, find some space behind, bring up the arms parallel with the ground into a warrior two position. Okay? Arms extending out in front and at the back. Okay? Just a few moments in this, few breaths. Good, and then forward into that side angle. So bring that right arm down to the top of the forward leg. Then your left arm either just pointing to the ceiling or maybe over your head. Sitting in that right hip. Nice strong leg at the back. Keeping the feet nice and plastered down. A few breaths. Remember what we said last week when we did this as well. When we come up from this, try to come up with a respectable inhalation, a good breath in. Alright, so let's try it now. So we're going to pull up, breathe in, and then into a triangle. So now the right hand onto the forward leg, and then bring this left arm just pointing it up to the ceiling. Try to keep the left hip back, either looking along the ground or looking up to the right, the left hand side. Just a few breaths. Okay, so as you did before, try to time the breath now so that when you come up from this, you push up, but also you take a respectable inhalation so that you fill the lungs with air to give you a little bit more buoyancy. Okay, so we go, breathe again. And then breathe out, let the arms come down. Turn the feet now to face the left edge of the mat. And then bend the knees, come down into this wide leg forward bend, bring the fingertips onto the mat. Now we're going to stay here for a few breaths, but try and bring some movement into this. Don't forget it's a vinyassa this, so we can move as much as we want. Okay? Just exchanging the weight maybe from one side to the other, use your hands, and you can get quite creative with this. Okay? Alright, what we're doing really here is just maybe bending the knees, but if you feel you've got the flexibility, you can straighten one leg and really bend the other knee. This kind of thing, you know, where you, if that feels okay, just a few of these maybe. Get some nice stretch into the hamstrings. And then coming back up again, just come up to a tabletop now, just to finish on this one. So fingertips onto the mat, lifting up the head and shoulders, keeping the legs fairly straight if that feels okay. Or if not, soften the knees a bit. Just hold on to this for a few breaths. Good. Alright, so now I want you to think about the right foot. Okay? Just have a slight bend in both knees, but think about the right foot. What we're going to do is we're going to start to bend the right knee a bit more, tiptoe over with the hands, and then turn the right toes to face down the mat, and then just readjust the rear foot so you come into this lunge with the hands on the inside of the right foot, or one hand on either side of the foot, whichever you do with the lunge. So here we are in a nice little lunge now, one right, one left leg, sitting in hips, maybe a bit of rolling on the back toes. This is just very simple positioning with these postures. You can do all sorts with these. I mean, what you could do is come into a twist like that. You can come into a twist. You can add things on here. You know, you don't have to just stay in the lunge. Another nice one is to bend the back knee, bring the back knee onto the mat. Okay, turn that front foot maybe 45 degrees out, and then place the right hand on the right knee. Push the leg away gently as you look upwards. So you get this little kind of rotation as well with the hips, the pelvis. That'll do. Right, and then back again, back to the lunge. And then we've probably been in the lunge a bit long enough now, so think about the right foot again. We're going to step back with the right foot into a downward facing dog, like that, yeah. And then just adjust the hands so you've got them about a foot apart. Same with the feet. Have a little bit of pressure, don't forget, on the fingertips. Push the fingers in, especially the thumb on the first finger. Hug the shoulder blades. Looking back between the feet gets the head in about the right place. Just hold on to this for a moment. The knees can be soft. Remember, you don't have to have the heels down unless they feel good to be down. If it's a good stretch and you enjoy that and it feels okay, then you can let the heels sort of come to the floor. Just hold this, maybe pushing back with the hands so that you lengthen the back. One or two breaths. Alright, so now we're going to get down from here. The next one is going to be the pigeon pose. Now, the easiest way to do it is to just sort of bend the right knee. We're going to have the right knee forward and just scoop forward towards the right hand. Or you can drop the knees into an all fours and just do it the simple way. Right? So, the easy way is to just take that leg up, bend the knee, and then come down, extend the left leg back. Bring up the head, long arms to start with. And what you could have done, for example, if you didn't like the feel of that, you could drop the knees and then just slide that knee forward. Still lengthen the back leg. Long arms again. And the hands for this are usually on line with the front of the knee. If you've got nice flexibility in the back, and people like to come up on the leg like this, they kind of push up so they get a higher reach and more of an extension. But just see how the back feels with that. It might be too much to do, okay? You also get a nice stretch at the front here as well if you do it this way. Okay, but conventionally the easy way is just to stay down here. A few breaths. Sitting in the hips. Okay. And then we're going to do the sleepy swan or the sleepy pigeon. So let the arms come down. Bring the head close down to the floor on the back of the hands. Just brings a little more squeeze into that forward hip. Maybe breathing straight into that hip. Just try to relax the pelvis here. And again, this could be, there could be movement here. I mean, we've come to a kind of fairly static position, but you could move the body. You could push the forward shin into the mat, come onto the back toes, lift the rear knee, so you get some energy, a little bit more energy going on in the legs. Maybe squeeze up the buttocks. You know, you can do a few things. It doesn't have to be absolutely still. You can activate muscles while you're in this pose. Depends how you feel. Okay, so we must have done the amount of breaths that we need to do. So we're going to come up into that cross leg position now. So we've already got one leg cross, so we're going to push up and then just ease to the right side so that you can bring the legs through. Carefully, you can take as much time as you want to do this. And then just come to as comfortable a cross leg position as you can with the right leg in front, don't forget, because that was the leg that you had in front in the pigeon pose. And then just bring the hands in front on the mat, a little lean in, a few breaths again. Again, you can feel this is a very definite squeeze on the hips, cross leg, forward fold. And then the next one again, dovetailed nicely in as we kind of ease the back up and then bring the soles of the feet together so we can come into this bound angle pose, okay? Or cobbler's pose as they call it. So we just bring the soles of the feet together, clasp the toes, let the legs relax out to the side, lift up the body nice and straight, a little leverage on the legs, on the feet, sorry. And a few breaths. Just breathing straight into the pelvic bowl. So now we're going to release this one and then just bring the knees together. Place the hands just behind the hips and then bring the feet open into this wide leg position. Come forward again, hands on the mat again, gently lean in. So we've got this prasarita or wide leg seated position, but it's also a forward bend for your back, so just be very mindful of that as you come forward. A few breaths. Good, and then roll it back up again. And then we're going to leave the right leg straight, bring this left foot, bring the left knee, bring the sole of the left foot onto the inside of the right thigh. Try to bring the knee so it's facing down the middle of the mat like this, and just turn the knee a little bit. Mainly that's because we're going to get up that way in a moment, right? So here's we're going to do a little head to knee posture. So just reaching down this straight leg towards the foot, the ankle, whatever you can reach, and then just carefully folding forward. This will bring quite a respectable stretch down to the left side of the lower back, and of course with the leg being straight, then it's of course hamstring stretch as well. You can bend the forward knee, don't forget on this, if that feels a little bit more comfortable, and then just drape over that right leg. Again, a few breaths. Excellent, right, so I'm going to ease back. And as we come back this time, just lean back for just 2 or 3 breaths, just to let the lower back and the legs rest, ease off a little. Okay, so from here we've got to get back on our feet again. Okay, so that's why I suggested that you have the knee, this left knee facing down the mat. So what we're meant to do now is to kind of straddle that left knee with the hands and then push up back into down dog. So you step back with the feet, come back into a downward facing dog. Just pausing a brief time here really. And then we're going to get back up to standing again. So we can step forward or you can just stand up in the most elegant way you can. Alright, so if we're going to step forward, we just step through with the right and then the left foot. And then we sweep up all the way up. So we're back to the beginning again. It's ready to start the other side. And it probably seems a long time ago now since we were here, but the second half always seems to go more quickly. Okay, so what I thought I'd do with the second half is do a little bit more movement. And of course, because we're near the end of the session now, and we're moving on to our Shavasana, if you want to just do them easily, then you do them easily. But I'm just going to show you what you could do with these mat positions in particular, because they are potentially static, but you could move with them. Right. So the first thing to do is to turn hands down and come into that tree on the left leg. So we're going to bring the other foot to the inside, okay? Just a basic tree for a few breaths. Arms where you feel comfortable, okay? But this is one where you might not want to move. You could do a little bit of twisting, but never mind, we'll just stay still for this one. Okay. Alright, and then that can come down. And then we're going to step back with the right into that warrior 2 again. And we could do a little bit of kind of lunging backwards and forwards. Just do a few little lunges. Good. And then we're going to come into that side angle. So it means that left arm comes down to the top of the left knee, and then the right arm either points to the ceiling or comes over the head. Strong back leg, good contact with the feet. Just a few breaths. Good. Don't forget then to take that good breath in as you push back up. Okay? Whenever you're ready, you're going to breathe in. And then into a triangle. So the left hand on the left thigh, keep the legs fairly straight, and then just reach up to point to the ceiling with the right hand. Either looking up to the right hand or looking horizontally along the ground. Try to keep the right hip back, feet making good contact with the floor. Few breaths again. Good, and then a good breath in as you push up. Breathe out, let the arms come down. Turn the feet to the right this time, so you've got this wide foot stance again. Little bend in the knee. Coming down again to this wide left forward bending once again. Okay. And again, a little bit of movement. You can move from side to side, maybe just bending the knees, or you could do a twist, again, from side to side with this while you're here. This is a vinyassa, so any movement is probably quite acceptable. Or some of those fancy ones with the left leg, so come down, get scoop low down, see how you want to, see how it feels. Good, and then just finishing this with a tabletop again. So just plant the fingertips just under your head, and then lift up with the shoulders and the head, keeping the fingers nicely stuck to the floor. That's it. Keep the legs straight if you can. If you want to bend the knees, it's perfectly okay just to bend the knees if that feels better for you. Just hold this again, a couple of breaths. Good. And then think about the left foot now. We're going to come into that lunge. So begin to bend the left knee and tiptoe over your hands to the left foot. Turn the toes to face down the mat. And then just readjust the back foot. So you've got a long right leg. And then maybe both hands on the inside of the forward foot. Keep a little bit of movement going with this. Maybe just roll, even if it's only rolling on the back toes. Just moving in the hips. Whatever feels good, but if you're not used to this position, just be careful where you come, because you might be just going into unknown territory. So if you move anywhere you're not sure about, just do it nice and carefully. Remember those things we did a little twist before, didn't we? Everyone like this, you can do a twist, or you can come to this way, you push that leg away, looking behind you. A few things you can do. Or even dropping the body if you can get low down. This is quite powerful for the hip, of course. Good, alright, and then when you're ready, I'm going to step back into that down dog again. Don't forget all the elements in the down dog, pressing the fingers in above the shoulder blades, pushing back to lengthen the back, pushing the hips back.
Good, and then we're going to come to that pigeon pose now again. Now this is now going to be the left knee coming towards the left hand. So you can drop the knees first into an all fours and slide that left knee forward, which I'm going to do this time anyway. Slide it forward, and then long right leg behind you. Long arms, either on the palms or the fingers, or you could climb onto the leg I suppose, but just maybe looking up gently. Again, just a few breaths. Now we could move with this, I guess I didn't move this. So you could kind of come down and make these movements, and this is one thing, so you push back, and then you come down with the head, and as the head gets down you begin to pull back with the hand, so you reach up and back, pushing, pulling, pushing. So it makes it a little bit more dynamic. Quite powerful for the upper body. And then we can come down to a little restful position below. But even in the rest one, you can still push the shin, the left shin into the mat, take the back knee off, come onto the rear toes, and lift the back leg. Not lift the back leg, just lift the back knee so that your toes are still making contact with the floor, but you're pushing in with the forward shin. So it energises that whole side, the leg, and lots of activation going on with the muscles in the lower body. Good, I'll do. Okay, so now we can come into that cross leg now. So we're going to push back up. So we've already got the left leg, cross leg. We're going to release back. Let the legs come through. Left leg in front, positioning into a cross leg position. Now, the last time we did this, on the first round, we just placed the hands in front and we made it a fairly static position. Okay? You can do that. But if you want to make it more of a movement, okay, you can take the hands behind, reach up, and then come forward. So you're breathing in, coming back, looking up to the ceiling, and then breathing out, coming forward, just taking the shoulders up and the hands. So again, you're keeping it dynamic, moving, you see. More energising. In a posture that would normally be just static, it's still. Okay, one more of these and then we'll move on again. Good. And then we're going to come into that round angle. So we take the hands through again, bring the toes of the feet together, clasp the toes. And again, here's another potential static posture, but what we can do is we can kind of pull and lift up as we breathe in and breathe out, come down. A few of these. Incidentally, if you want to just relax now and just hold these postures because we're getting near the end of the sequence, and feel free to do that. Just showing you what you could do with this. You want to keep it more active. Okay, one more. Good. And then just bring the knees in, hands behind, straighten the legs, open the feet to this wide leg position again. And again, last time we just had the hands in front and we leaned in, but you see you could move. You can kind of come down one side, move across. You keep the whole thing nice and fluid, or you can make circles like this. And what's good about this type of bringing activations into these postures like this is that normally this would be a static pose that you're in now. Just cross root, but by moving, it just introduces a little bit more flexibility into the body. Doing a posture with movement that you would normally not move in. Okay. Good enough. Alright, so fair enough, there we go. Let's stop that one. So now we're going to come into a head today, getting near the end now. So keep the left leg straight, right foot now comes onto the inside like this. Yeah. Doesn't matter too much about where the knees on this one because we're not going to come up to a stand-up. So now we're going to come into this head to knee, and again you can make this a static or a movement. So you can just lean in and come down in a static position, or you can keep moving. So you can come up, breathe in, sweep up, and then come down. So you're keeping the whole thing like movement all the time. There's movement in everything you do. Or you can just do simple movements, like just come forwards and upwards like this. Just reach forward, hold onto the leg, come up and down gently. Just being very mindful of your back. Simple movement. Great, okay. There we go. So then on this second round, we come back and probably just lean back into the base just for a few moments. Really just to allow your back and the legs and hips to just ease off after that last head to knee and the wide leg. It's just a little transition really from one posture to another. Okay, so now we're going to come into a fold. So this is where it changes is we're going to just ease back, bring the head and shoulders to the mat, draw the knees back, cross the ankles, hold onto the knees. And we could rock and roll with this, side to side, get a little massage in the lower muscles of your back. Getting near the end of the session now, so we just want to relax down a little bit. Nice, easy movements. Rocking from side to side. And then, just finishing up, dropping the feet, coming to windscreen wiper, so keep the knees bent, take the feet to the outer edges of the mat, let the knees collapse in together, arms by the side, let the legs sway from left to right. Easy sways here. Just being careful of the lower back and gently massaging the hips, abdomen. Just beginning to sort of cool down and quieten down the body again. Good. And then we can stop the swaying. Okay, just bring the feet back together. Keep the knees bent for a moment. Just pausing in this reclining position just for a few breaths with the knees bent. Okay, good. So now we can just simply go into Shavasana from this. We're about the right time, so maybe just lengthening the legs. And if you want to throw back at yourself, just grab your blanket nearby and come into Shavasana now and just begin to settle down and relax. Just for these remaining moments, just to allow the sequence to just sink in a little bit.